Wagwan YouTube. Now today in the kitchen, I'm going to be showing you how to make sweetened condensed milk at home. This is super easy to make, and best of all, it only requires two ingredients. That's milk and sugar, and the end result will be just as rich and creamy and luscious like the store-bought stuff. It is also preservative-free, and you can use it in all your recipes that calls for condensed milk. And I hope you like it. Now the first thing we're going to do is to warm our milk in our saucepan on medium-low heat. Now I'm using whole milk. You can use skim or low fat, but you're not going to get that rich, creamy consistency that you're looking for. You would have to experiment a little bit and make adjustments just to get that creamy consistency. So we're not looking for our milk to come to a boil at this point. We just want it to be warm enough where there's steam coming off because we want it to quickly and completely dissolve our sugar when we add it in a few minutes. Once our milk starts to warm up, I want you to grab your spatula or a whisk and I want you to start stirring your milk. We want to prevent or minimize that sticky film that forms on the top of warm milk. We want to kind of prevent that from forming. Also, I want you to keep your spatula or your whisk close by because you're going to be using it a lot throughout the process. You're going to maintain an almost constant stirring or whisking on our milk, especially when we add our sugar. Now, stirring will prevent our milk mixture from getting lumpy. That way we can have that creamy consistency that we're looking for in a condensed milk. The process kind of reminds me of making cornmeal porridge. So if you grew up Caribbean or you grew up on cornmeal porridge, then you are already familiar with that constant stirring to make sure that your porridge is lump free. So it's the same concept. So now that our milk is nice and warm, we're going to go ahead and add our granulated sugar. Now, once you've added all your sugar, go ahead and start whisking or stirring. You want to keep stirring until all the sugar has been dissolved completely. Now, this is a very important step. You want to make sure that all your sugar has been dissolved. If not, they will form like little sugar candy, like almost like rock candy in your milk mixture, and it would be hard to get that creamy consistency that we're looking for with that going on. So now that our sugar has been dissolved, we're going to go ahead and increase our heat to medium, and we want to maintain a low boil, not a roaring boil, a low boil on our mixture throughout the process. So now that all our ingredients are in our pot, we're going to go ahead and allow this to cook down for about 30 minutes. We want our mixture to reduce to half. Probably wondering what I'm doing with this piece of wood. Now, I'm going to tell you. Now, this is just the bottom of my spoon, and I'm going to use it as an indicator to let me know when my mixture has reduced to half. Here is how it works. So I dip it in my milk mixture, and then I mark the spot where my volume is right now. I record that. I also go ahead and mark the area that would be the halfway mark on my stick. So I usually use this as a visual indicator to let me know when my mixture has been reduced to exactly where I want it to be. Of course, you don't have to do this, but it can be quite helpful when you're trying to make sure that you have the exact quantity that you need. And it doesn't have to be a wooden spoon. It just has to be clean, and the liquid level just has to be visible on it. So now we're ready to start creating some condensed milk magic. Go ahead and set your timer for 30 minutes, and we're gonna stir our mixture every other minute for about 15 seconds. Notice some physical changes to our milk mixture. Right now it's white and it's at a watery consistency. Now, as we continue to cook this and the mixture starts to reduce, it's gonna take on a like a pale yellow, and it's going to develop a syrupy consistency. Now that condensed milk thickness, that richness, that magic happens when the mixture cools down. So it doesn't actually happen on the stove. So we want to get this to a point where it's that syrupy consistency. Then we are going to remove it from our flame, and that takes about roughly 30 minutes to get to that point. Another thing to be mindful of as you're stirring and you're putting your spatula in and out of the mixture, there's going to be an accumulation of that filmy white stuff at the bottom of the spatula. So go ahead and add some water to like a small container, a bowl, or a cup. And that way, when you take your spatula out of the mixture, you can dip it in the water to rinse that stuff off so you don't keep putting it back in. Another physical change that you'll notice as well, it will get foamy at the edges. That's completely normal. And you'll see like little pieces of brown bits floating around. That's completely normal as well because we are going to strain all that impurities off in our final product. So now we're at that 15-minute mark, and we're just going to just want to give you a quick update. It's still a watery consistency at this point, and you can see the color starting to change a little bit to that pale yellow. It's not as white as when we started out, but it's certainly not at its final color. So now we're at that 30-minute mark, and our milk mixture has turned on that pale yellow color, and it's at that syrupy consistency, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to grab my wooden spoon, the one I used when I started out to take my measurements, and I'm going to go ahead and measure to see if our mixture has been reduced by half. Now, if you've measured and your mixture has not reduced enough, go ahead and allow your milk mixture to cook for another 5 to 10 minutes and then check it again. My condensed milk mixture has been reduced to exactly where I want it to be. It has been reduced by half. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the heat source. Now you can see that pale yellow color. You can see the color a little bit better. I guess the lighting is better over here. And then you're going to grab a strainer, and this is best stored in a glass container with like a mason jar with an airtight cover, and you want to allow your mixture to cool. But I'm going to place it in a measuring cup because I wanted to show you exactly the amount of liquid, the amount of condensed milk that you're going to have. So we're going to strain our mixture into a measuring cup. We certainly don't want any of that impurities to get into our final product. Whatever is left in the strainer, we're going to go ahead and discard that. Now this is going to yield 8 ounces or maybe a little bit less than 8 ounces, which is the equivalent of the condensed milk in the can that you purchase at the store. Then you're going to store this in the fridge because it will stay fresh, refrigerated for approximately 7 days for a week. And you can also freeze it for up to 3 months. You're going to want to store this in a glass jar, like a mason jar with a tight fitting lid that will keep it nice and fresh. And as your mixture cools down in the refrigerator, it will also thicken up to that beautiful, creamy, luscious condensed milk consistency, which is exactly what you're looking for. As always, I want to thank you for watching and hanging out with me today, and I hope you will give this recipe a try as well as give this video a thumbs up. Now, if you still have not subscribed to our channel, I invite you to subscribe now and hit that notification bell. As always, one love and stay blessed, my friend.